They forged chains to hold you, but you became the storm that shattered them. You were never their equal in the small games they played. You were always destined for more than their doubts, their limits, and their control. You're not just the one who got away. You're the hurricane that uprooted everything they thought they had secured. From lovers who mistook your love for weakness, family who treated you as an extension of their egos, and friends who only thrived in your shadow, your departure was not an escape. It was a statement. When you left, you didn't just walk out the door. You tore down the walls they built to confine you. Like a fire consuming a forest of lies, you left nothing but ash behind. They thought they owned you, your loyalty, your ambition, your dreams, but you proved them wrong with one decisive move. They called you selfish because you refused to be their sacrifice. They never imagined a life without you under their thumb. Yet, here you are, thriving, glowing, and untouchable. Every step you take now sends tremors through the foundation of their broken games. Like a phoenix rising, your rebirth is a constant reminder of their own stagnation. You didn't just leave, you broke their script. You weren't the pawn they could move around. You were the queen who flipped the entire board. And to you, the chosen one, thank you. Whether you've just found us, or have been standing strong with this movement, your presence and super gifts are what keep this mission alive and thriving. You're the proof that breaking free from the expectations of lovers, family, and friends isn't the end. It's the beginning of a revolution. If you're ready to fully step into your power, silence the doubts, and let your freedom inspire and disrupt, it's time to act. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments if you're claiming your escape as the ultimate foundation of your transformation. Let's dive in. Number 1. Breaking free. The collapse of control. The moment you break free, the world will either try to cage you again or wonder how you ever got out in the first place. The moment you stepped away, the world around you cracked open. Their reactions? A complete collapse of control. Chaos erupted where once there was order. They were left scrambling, trying to grasp something they thought they had mastered. You were the storm they never saw coming, and now their carefully constructed world was falling apart. You could feel the disbelief radiating from them. It was like they couldn't quite believe their eyes. How could you? Someone they had so tightly controlled, someone they had manipulated with ease, just disappear. In their eyes, you were supposed to be weak. You were supposed to crumble. You were supposed to be the one to beg, to come back and apologize for your freedom. But you didn't. You didn't come crawling back. No, you thrived. You rose higher than ever before, and that hit them like a ton of bricks. At first, they might have tried to lie to themselves. Denial crept in like a shadow, clinging to the edges of their consciousness. They told themselves, you'd never go far, you'd never break free from their grip. But deep down, they knew the truth was different. They knew they had underestimated you. They thought their chains were unbreakable, but instead, you snapped them like brittle twigs, leaving them standing in the dust of their own delusion. Then came the anger, the kind that burns hotter than a wildfire, the kind that makes them want to lash out, blame you, accuse you of being selfish. They were angry because you had done what they thought was impossible. You escaped. You were free, and that felt like a personal attack. Their entire identity was wrapped up in their ability to control, to own, to manipulate. And now, you were a living, breathing proof that they were powerless against you. Resentment followed closely behind. How dare you be stronger than they thought? How dare you leave, not just with your head held high, but with a newfound strength they could never replicate. They couldn't comprehend how you broke free from their chains, Those chains, after all, were meant to bind you to them. They were meant to turn you into something they could control, something they could use. But when you walked away, you shattered their entire world. You broke their illusion that they were powerful, and instead, you became the force they couldn't withstand. Some of them, desperate to reclaim the control they once had, tried to mimic your strength. They imitated your confidence, your independence, but they failed. They tried to copy what they saw in you, but it was hollow. It lacked the fire that burned within you. They didn't have the authenticity, the raw power, the grit you possessed. They were actors playing a part. But you were the real deal, the genuine article. Your strength wasn't something they could fake. It came from within, born from the very core of your being. They didn't understand that you didn't just leave. You grew. The shock wasn't in your absence, but in your rise. While they expected you to falter, to crawl back into the cage they'd built for you, you only flourished. You reclaimed your energy, your time, your worth. You found your voice, your purpose. You became untouchable, untamed, unbreakable. And that truth, it ate away at them. You were never theirs to control. You were never their possession. You were never their tool to manipulate. You were a force that couldn't be contained by anyone or anything. When you left, you didn't just walk away from them. You walked into your own power, into your own future. And that truth was the hardest thing for them to accept. Some will try to break you, but the ones who can't break you will envy you for your strength. Now, they had to face the truth. You were the one who got away, and you weren't just surviving, you were thriving. You didn't just escape, you evolved. While they remained trapped in their own webs of control and deceit, you soared above it all. You weren't a victim of their manipulation. You weren't a casualty of their games. You were the victor, the one who rewrote the rules and showed them that their control was a mere illusion. Their power over you was never real. It was built on lies, on manipulation, on the fear they instilled in you. But now you were free from all of it, and that was the hardest pill for them to swallow. You weren't just the one who escaped. You were the one who proved them wrong. So, as they watch you from the sidelines, as they try to piece together the fragments of the control they once had, remember this: you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You are living proof that freedom is the ultimate power, the kind of power that no one can take away from you. Not lovers, not family, not friends, no one. And that's the power they could never understand. Number 2, envy, the bitter taste of their own shortcomings. Envy is the art of counting the other fellow's blessings instead of your own. Harold Coffin. In your absence, their envy is like a wildfire, spreading without restraint. It begins as a quiet discomfort, a small whisper in their minds, but quickly grows into something impossible to ignore. They're haunted by the peace you've found, the calm that now seems impossible for them to touch. Your confidence, your clarity, the way you've rebuilt your life. They watch from the sidelines, unable to comprehend how you've become everything they wish they could be. They replay old conversations with you like a broken record, dissecting every word you spoke, trying to find a key they missed, something they overlooked. They're searching for the magic formula that will bring them the strength you carry so effortlessly. But what they don't understand is that your strength isn't something they can copy. It isn't a method to be replicated. It's the product of breaking free from their control, from their demands, from the weight they tried to put on your shoulders. You found your voice in the silence of their expectations, and now they're left scrambling in your wake. For some, your absence becomes a mirror they can't escape. They are forced to look at themselves and see what you've become, what they've never had the courage to pursue. In the reflection, they see their own flaws, their own limitations, and they can't handle it. They wanted to control you, to keep you small, to make you a reflection of their own insecurities. But instead, they've been forced to face their own reflection, one they never wanted to confront. And that's the hardest thing of all. For others, this envy turns bitter. It morphs into a desperation to invalidate your growth, to downplay everything you've achieved. They would rather cling to their own misery than admit they've failed to do what you've done. They see your success and your strength, but instead of embracing it as inspiration, they let their bitterness fester. It's easier to tear down what you've built than to face the uncomfortable truth that they didn't have the courage to break free. But here's the thing, their envy doesn't matter anymore. It no longer holds any weight in your world. You've reclaimed your story. You've rewritten your narrative. You are not their lifeline anymore, not their scapegoat or their project to fix. They can no longer make you the villain in their twisted tales. You've become the reckoning they didn't prepare for. And now, your peace, your strength, your freedom, those are the things they'll never truly understand. You don't need their validation. You've reached a place where their opinions are nothing more than background noise, easily drowned out by the sound of your own triumph. While they scramble to make sense of what they've lost, you've already moved on. Their bitterness can't touch you. Their envy can't break you. You're too far ahead, too strong, too free to be held back by their jealousy. The only way to get rid of the temptation to quit is to keep going. Unknown, they see your confidence and try to make it about them. Try to turn it into something they can criticize, but it's not theirs to claim. Your success is yours, earned through every challenge you faced, every obstacle you overcame. Their jealousy might sting, but it's nothing compared to the fire that fuels you. The longer they sit in their envy, the further they fall behind. The longer they hold on to their bitterness, the further out of reach you become. And in the end, they'll realize something they never understood. You were never theirs to control. You were never their project or their responsibility. You were always meant to stand on your own, to be the force they couldn't contain, the success they couldn't replicate. And as you rise higher, as you continue to thrive, their envy will continue to eat away at them. Because no matter how hard they try to tear you down, you'll keep building, stronger, freer, and more unstoppable than ever. Number 3, breaking free, taking back what's yours. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Breaking free wasn't simply about walking away from toxic relationships. It was about reclaiming your own power, rediscovering the parts of yourself they had buried, crushed, or twisted into something unrecognizable. It wasn't just about escaping. No, it was about reclaiming what was always yours. You pulled yourself from their grasp, cutting the strings they had tied around your spirit. For years, they tried to break you, to make you bend to their will, to manipulate you into fitting their vision of who you should be. But you found the strength to untangle those threads of control. And with every step you took away from them, you shed the layers of conditioning that had suffocated your soul. They never saw it coming. They thought you were too dependent on their approval, too tied to their validation. They assumed you would never break free from the roles they assigned you. You were their pawn, their project, their puppet, and they counted on it. But they underestimated the quiet storm that lived inside you. They mistook your silence for weakness, your compliance for dependence. But that quiet storm, it was always there, brewing, gathering power, waiting for the right moment to erupt. And when you finally made the choice to prioritize yourself, to cut the ties that bound you, that storm broke free. You stopped feeding the system that kept you small, the system that drained you of your energy and your joy. The moment you took back your power, you flipped the script. The power dynamic shifted in a way they never saw coming. Suddenly, the control they had over you evaporated like smoke in the wind. They could no longer manipulate your emotions or bend your will. You had reclaimed what they tried to take from you: your identity, your worth, your direction. They relied on your need to please, your desire to be accepted. But when you chose yourself, when you stopped giving them the permission to dictate who you should be, you tore down the walls they had built around you. You gave up their control and took back the right to define your own life. And in that moment, the foundation of their power cracked. Without your energy, your love, your obedience, their hold over you crumbled like sand slipping through their fingers. It's not that you simply left, it's that you broke free. You didn't just step away from their toxicity, you removed yourself entirely from the equation. They thought they were the ones in control, that they had the upper hand, but they never realized they were feeding off of you. You were the source of their power, and the moment you decided to no longer give them that power, their hold disintegrated. They were left powerless, watching as you redefined yourself and your future without them. For so long, you lived in the shadow of their expectations, bound by their rules, made to believe that you were not enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. But that lie has been shattered. You are more than enough. You always have been. The moment you stepped into your own power, you became untouchable. You reclaimed your identity, your dignity, your peace. You became the person they could never control or understand. The greatest prison people live in is the fear of what other people think. Now, with every step you take, every choice you make, you're creating a new version of yourself, one they could never have imagined. You're living proof that it's possible to break free from the shackles of others' expectations. And that freedom? That's the fuel for your transformation. You didn't just reclaim yourself, you became the person you were always meant to be, without apologies, without fear, and without the weight of others' opinions weighing you down. Breaking free wasn't about abandoning the people who tried to hold you back. It was about breaking free from their grip on your mind, your heart, and your soul. It was about giving yourself the chance to grow, to evolve, to become someone who stands on their own 2 feet, someone who defines their own worth and purpose. You did it for you, and in doing so, you proved that no one has the right to dictate your life, your choices, or your future. You are the author of your story now, and no one, not lovers, not family, not friends, can take that away from you. The person you are becoming is unstoppable. The person you've always been, strong, resilient, and powerful, has been waiting for this moment. And now that you've stepped into that power, nothing can hold you back. You are free, and in that freedom, you have found your true strength. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. This is your moment. You've broken free. You've reclaimed yourself. And now, nothing will ever be the same. Not for them, not for you. The storm has passed, and what's left is a powerful, unbreakable force, you. Number 4, the ruin you walked away from. Sometimes, leaving is the only way to make them see. When you walked away, you didn't just step out the door. You detonated a bomb, leaving behind the ruin of everything they thought was solid. The very foundation of their world began to crumble, and they were left standing in the wreckage, unable to comprehend the magnitude of what had just happened. They never saw it coming. You were the stabilizing force in their lives, the one who kept everything from falling apart. But now, without you, everything is slowly disintegrating before their eyes. They took you for granted. They thought your presence in their lives was a guarantee, something that would always be there, no matter how they treated you, no matter how they neglected you. They assumed you'd always be the one to pick up the pieces when things went wrong, to fill in the gaps when their lives felt empty. But what they didn't realize is that you were the glue that held everything together. You weren't just a part of their world. You were the backbone, the silent force that kept the chaos at bay. And now that you're gone, they can't ignore the destruction you left behind. You don't miss something until it's gone, and that's when the truth hits. At first, they might have tried to mask the impact of your departure. They told themselves they didn't need you, that they'd be fine without you. But that lie didn't last. The absence of your energy, your love, your presence, suddenly it was glaring, undeniable. The space you once filled is now a gaping hole that nothing can seem to fill. They're left grappling with the weight of their own limitations, realizing just how much they relied on you to keep everything running smoothly. They never understood how much you gave, how much of yourself you sacrificed just to make their lives easier. And now, in the aftermath, they're paying the price. As the days go by, the damage becomes more apparent. The things they took for granted, your support, your loyalty, your strength, are gone. The pieces they thought they could rely on are crumbling, one by one, because you were the one who made everything work. You were the one who picked up their slack, who made their flaws disappear, who patched the holes they never bothered to mend. But now, with you gone, everything is falling apart. Their world is in ruins, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Sometimes they don't realize how much they need you until you're no longer there to fix their mess. Now, they're left with a stark reality. They weren't as self-sufficient as they believed. They didn't have the strength to hold it all together without you. They thought they could go on without your support, your energy, your wisdom. But the truth is, they were never as strong as they pretended to be. And now, without you, they're exposed. The cracks they tried to hide are now wide open, and they have to face the consequences of their own neglect. They may try to fill the gap with distractions, new people, new things, new pursuits, but it won't work. Nothing will ever replace the presence you brought into their lives. They can try to patch things up, but the void you left is too vast, too deep. The emptiness is a constant reminder that they didn't appreciate what they had until it was gone. And no matter how hard they try, nothing will ever be enough to fill the space you've left behind. What you take for granted today, someone else is praying for tomorrow. The hardest part for them is realizing that the collapse they're now facing is their own doing. They pushed you away, ignored your worth, and now they must deal with the fallout. You weren't just a part of their lives. You were the key to their stability. You were the one who kept them grounded, who made everything seem possible. And now that you're gone, they're left with nothing but the ruins of their own choices. They can't undo the damage, can't turn back the clock. What they failed to see in you is now glaringly obvious, and it's too late to fix. You were never just a filler in their lives. You were the one who made their world whole. And now, as they watch everything fall apart, they'll understand one truth. Without you, they are nothing. The hardest part of growing is knowing when to walk away. The reality is this: they didn't value you until you were gone, and now they'll live with the regret of letting you slip through their fingers. The destruction you left behind isn't just physical. It's a lesson they'll never forget. You weren't just a casualty of their neglect. You were the reckoning they didn't see coming. And now they're stuck in the ruins, trying to rebuild something that was never truly theirs to begin with. But You've walked away, leaving them with the consequences of their own actions. And as they watch their world crumble, they'll realize that the true devastation wasn't in your leaving. It was in their failure to ever truly appreciate what you brought to their lives. Number 5. The power of choosing yourself. The moment you choose yourself, the world you've been holding together begins to fall apart. Choosing yourself was never just a decision. It was a declaration of freedom. It wasn't simply about stepping away from their control. No, it was an act of reclaiming what was rightfully yours all along. You were no longer willing to stay in a cage made of their expectations, their demands, and their manipulation. Walking away was the fire you needed to ignite in order to burn down the walls they had built around you, trapping you in a life you never chose. They never expected it. They thought you'd always be there, always waiting for their approval, always willing to play the role they scripted for you. But when you walked away, you broke the script. You shattered the illusion they had so carefully constructed, and you left them staring at the rubble of their own deception. Your absence wasn't just an escape. It was the final nail in the coffin of their power over you. Sometimes, the hardest thing you can do is to walk away from what you've always known. The aftermath wasn't easy. They reacted with rage, with tears, with desperate attempts to pull you back into their web. They tried everything: manipulation, guilt, even empty promises. But none of it worked. You had already seen through their games, their lies, and you were done being a pawn in their narrative. When you chose yourself, you dismantled their hold on you piece by piece. You didn't just untangle their threads, you burned the whole web to the ground. You refused to be their puppet, and in doing so, you exposed their lies for all to see. Their power over you was never real. It was borrowed from your energy, your loyalty, your love. They depended on you to feed their fragile egos, to sustain the illusion of control they had over your life. But when you took back what was yours, they were left with nothing. Their so-called power crumbled without your support, and now they are left staring at themselves in the mirror, confronted by the emptiness they tried to fill with your devotion. The moment you stop living for others, you begin living for yourself. And in choosing yourself, you didn't just free yourself from them, you liberated your truth. You gave yourself permission to be who you were always meant to be, unfiltered and unapologetic. The world you had been trying to please, the people who had tried to make you smaller, now had no choice but to face the truth you had been hiding from them. You are not theirs to control. You are your own. The freedom you gained wasn't just about getting away from them. It was about reclaiming your life, your purpose, and your future. You are no longer a character in someone else's story. You are the author now, writing your own narrative, no longer bound by their expectations. You are free to follow your own path, to chase your own dreams, and to finally live for yourself. Choosing yourself is the most rebellious thing you can do in a world that wants to tell you who to be. They may never understand it. They may never see what you've done for what it truly is, a revolution of self-love, of self-worth. But you don't need their approval anymore. They will be left to confront their own games, their own manipulations, and the empty spaces they tried to fill with your presence. And you will continue to rise, stronger and more powerful with each passing day because you finally chose you. In the end, choosing yourself is not just about walking away from them. It's about walking toward your own power, your own future, and your own peace. You've burned their web, broken their chains, and liberated yourself from the lies they tried to feed you. And now, with nothing holding you back, you can finally step into the life you were always meant to live. Number 6. Your independence haunts them. Freedom is not the absence of commitments, but the ability to choose what is best for you. When you broke free, it wasn't just an act of defiance. It was the beginning of something powerful. Your independence has hit them like lightning, a jolt of clarity that cuts through the darkness they tried to hide behind. They never saw it coming, and now they're forced to face the truth of your strength and the depth of their own limitations. You didn't just leave their grasp. You stepped into your own light, and in doing so, you exposed every corner of their insecurity. Your independence isn't a passive thing. It's a blazing statement. You've shown them that you don't need their approval, their validation, or their control to thrive. You have built your own path, stepped into your own power, and left them in the shadows of their own narrow worldview. Every decision you make, every step you take away from them, every boundary you set, these are the actions that send shockwaves through their carefully constructed illusions. They can no longer deny it. You were never their puppet, and your growth has become the mirror that reflects everything they lacked. The moment you stop caring about what others think is the moment you begin to live. Every move you make echoes their failure to control you. Every victory, every piece of success you claim for yourself sends them reeling. They see you rising higher while they remain stuck, stagnant in their own game. Your progress shines a spotlight on everything they couldn't achieve because they were too busy holding you back. They wanted you to be a reflection of their expectations, a mirror to their ego. But you broke that mirror, shattered it into 1,000 pieces, and created a new reflection, one that no longer included them. They tried to keep you small. They told you who you should be, how you should act, what you should want. They thought their control over you was an anchor, something that grounded you to them, something that kept you tethered to their needs and desires. But what they failed to realize is that their control was never your anchor. It was your cage. You were never meant to live within their confines, to bend to their rules. You were meant to break free, to spread your wings, to live beyond the boundaries they set for you. And now you're doing just that. You were born to stand out, not fit in. Your growth is undeniable. They can't escape it, no matter how much they try to deny it. They see you moving forward, thriving in ways they never thought possible. Your independence has become the constant reminder of their own shortcomings, a harsh reflection of everything they tried to suppress in you. They never imagined you would flourish without them. They thought they were your lifeline, your reason for existing. But the truth is, you were always your own anchor. You were always the one holding yourself together. And now, as you rise, they are left with the crushing realization that their grip on you was never real. The more you grow, the more they feel the sting of your absence. They never realized how much your independence would challenge their control. Your freedom exposes the hollowness of their influence, the limitations of their power over you, the boundaries you set, the life you built on your own terms. It's a reflection of everything they tried to deny in themselves. Your autonomy isn't just a triumph of will, it's a reminder of their failure to understand your worth. The only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. As you continue to rise, your independence becomes the very thing they can't escape. You are proof that they were never the ones holding you back. They were the ones who were holding you down. And now, as you flourish, their attempts to control you seem more pathetic than ever. Every time you set a new boundary, every time you make a new decision that serves your purpose, you shine a light on their inability to do the same. You are free, and they are still trapped in their own chains. Your independence is their lesson, even if they don't want to learn it. You've shown them that freedom isn't something to fear, something to suppress. It's the key to becoming the best version of yourself, to reaching heights they never imagined. You are the embodiment of everything they tried to stop. You are the proof that without their control, you are stronger, smarter, and more powerful than they ever knew. In the end, you only have yourself to answer to. And now, as you stand in your own power, you are the blueprint for what true freedom looks like. You no longer need to seek validation from anyone, especially those who tried to control you. Your success isn't defined by their approval. It's defined by your own determination, your own strength. Every time you break free, every time you grow, every time you succeed, you are proving that their grip was nothing but an illusion. And as they watch you from the sidelines, they can't help but see what they could have had, what they could have been, if only they hadn't tried to trap you. Your independence is your power, and it's undeniable. The more you claim it, the more you show the world, and them, that you were never meant to be held down. You were always meant to soar. Number 7. Guarding your light from the darkness. Not everyone who watches you rise wants to see you succeed. As you climb higher, as you build the life they never thought you would, expect them to try and drag you back down. Their envy festers like an infection, eating away at the parts of them they wish they could hide. They will undermine you, question your every move, and twist your authenticity into something that suits their narrative. But you are no longer the person who would sit silently and take it. You're the one who broke free, who stepped into your power, and now it's time to protect what's yours with the same fierce energy that got you out of their grip. The truth is, not everyone who watches your rise is truly celebrating it. Some of them, the ones who used to be close to you, the ones who never believed in your potential, are the ones who are silently seething, hoping to see you stumble. They don't want to see you flourish because it forces them to face their own failures, their own inability to rise to the occasion. You have become a mirror to their shortcomings, and instead of reflecting on their own path, they'd rather tear yours down. When they can't break you, they'll try to make you question yourself. There are those who will try to copy your path, mimic your success, and walk the journey you've made yours. But without the authenticity, without the real work. They'll see what you've done and want to replicate it, but they'll fall short because they aren't willing to put in the same effort. They don't have the foundation you've built, the blood, sweat, and tears that you've poured into your growth. They want your shine without the struggle, and that's where they will fail. Their attempts will crumble under the weight of their inauthenticity. They will try to wear your skin, but it will never fit them. They will try to play your part, but they won't be able to carry the story you've written for yourself. Stay vigilant. Keep your eyes open for the wolves in sheep's clothing. Not everyone who smiles in your face is truly rooting for you. Some people can only stand in the shadows and wait for a chance to strike. They won't do it openly. They'll spread whispers, inject doubt into your mind, and try to distort your vision. Their goal isn't just to see you fail, it's to make you doubt your own worth, to make you question the very thing that makes you stand tall, your authenticity, your strength, your ability to rise above them. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's essential. You fought too hard to get to this place of power, of peace, to let anyone dim your light now. The moment you started believing in yourself, the moment you began to rise, they saw it and feared it. Your success was a direct threat to their comfort. So, they will come for you in the form of subtle sabotage, backhanded compliments, and whispered gossip. They want you to second-guess your every move, because if they can make you feel small, they can have a shot at taking back what you've earned. But don't fall for it. Your energy is sacred, and it's yours to protect. guard it with the same intensity you use to escape their grasp. If you've learned anything from your journey, it's that not everyone deserves access to your energy, your time, or your presence. You've had enough of people who only take from you, who drain you without giving back. Now is the time to set your boundaries with precision and confidence. If they aren't contributing to your growth, if they aren't adding value to your life, they don't get to be in your space. It's that simple. Your energy is your currency. Don't waste it on people who can't afford it. You owe it to yourself to protect the progress you've made. You owe it to the person you've become to not let anyone diminish your light. There will always be those who want to tear down what you've built, who want to undermine your journey because it exposes their own inadequacies. But you've already proven that you are stronger than they ever thought you could be. You've already proven that their efforts to control you, manipulate you, and steal your energy won't work. And now, as you rise even higher, protect the ground you've gained. Don't let anyone who isn't aligned with your path steal the energy that should be going into your own evolution. It's not just about cutting people out. It's about recognizing the value of your own growth. It's about understanding that not everyone who watches you rise is your ally. Some are watching for the fall, some are waiting for you to stumble, but those who genuinely celebrate you will be the ones who encourage your rise without trying to bring you down. These are the people you keep close. Everyone else? Protect your energy and don't let them pull you back into the darkness they live in. Keep shining, keep growing, and never stop guarding what you fought so hard to achieve. Number 8. The Lone Wolf. Unstoppable in solitude. Sometimes the hardest journey is the one you take alone. Walking away was never easy. It came with a weight so heavy that few can understand the full burden you carried when you left. You didn't just leave people behind, you left parts of yourself that you had once given so freely. Pieces of your heart, your energy, your time. And that loss wasn't something you could ignore. It cut deep. But here's the truth. Leaving wasn't about abandoning anyone else. It was about choosing yourself. For too long, you had been trapped in their world, caught up in their expectations, their needs, their demands. You gave and gave, thinking that if you gave enough, you'd find peace, validation, or even love. But you were wrong. You were losing yourself in the process. You were fading into the background of their lives, just another player in a game that wasn't even your own. So you chose to walk away, not because you didn't care, but because you finally realized the most important thing. You couldn't keep giving yourself away and expect to have anything left for you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Leaving wasn't just a physical act. It was a seismic shift, a deep personal revolution. It was a moment where you chose solitude over suffocation. You walked away from the noise, from the chaos, from the toxic relationships that drained you dry. And in that silence, in that solitude, you found strength. Solitude isn't a punishment, it's a teacher. While they may see your independence as a retreat, you know the truth. It's a declaration. It's a statement to the world that your freedom is non-negotiable. You are no longer bound by the expectations and limitations others tried to place on you. Your peace is yours, and you'll protect it at all costs. The solitude you've embraced has sharpened you. It has allowed you to hear the whispers of your own soul, whispers that were drowned out by the noise of other people's opinions, by their demands on your time and energy. In solitude, you discover who you truly are. In your solitude, you've learned lessons that you couldn't have learned in the crowd. The lessons of your own strength, your own resilience, your own worth. You've discovered that you are enough, that you are worthy, that you don't need anyone else to define you. You've learned how to stand on your own 2 feet, to navigate the world with a newfound confidence, and to build a life that is yours and yours alone. The world might try to convince you that being alone is a weakness, that solitude means you're broken or lost. But you know better. You know that in the quiet, in the space you've carved out for yourself, you've found a strength that no one can take from you. You are a lone wolf, moving through the world with purpose and power. You don't need to answer to anyone, don't need to explain your journey. You've realized that you are your own greatest ally, and that's all you need. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. It hasn't been easy. The journey of walking away from what you knew, from the people who thought they had a claim over you, was painful. There were moments when you questioned yourself, when the loneliness felt like it would swallow you whole. But you made it through, and now you stand stronger than ever. Solitude has turned you into a warrior. It has hardened you in a way that no one else could ever understand. And now, when they look at you, they see someone untouchable, someone who has walked through fire and emerged unscathed. They may try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself, for walking away from their chaos and noise. They might question your independence, label you as selfish, or even try to make you feel as though you've abandoned them. But none of that matters anymore. You know who you are, and you know what you've gained. You've gained the power to stand alone, to face the world on your terms, and to keep moving forward without the weight of others' expectations holding you back. The strongest souls are those who walk alone. Now, as you walk this path, you know that the road ahead won't always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the weight of your solitude feels unbearable. But you also know that you are stronger now. You've built yourself up from the inside out, and nothing can shake the foundation you've laid. You are the lone wolf, unstoppable, unshakable, and unafraid to walk your own path. In your solitude, you have found a strength that no one can take away from you. You have learned to trust yourself, to stand tall in your own power, and to walk through the world with a quiet, unyielding confidence. You are no longer afraid of being alone because you've learned the truth. You are your own greatest companion, and with that knowledge, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. Number 9. Rise above, shine relentlessly. The brightest flames burn in the darkest places. You didn't just slip away unnoticed. You didn't simply leave their world and fade into the background. No, you ascended. By choosing yourself, you made it clear that liberation isn't some distant dream. It's a raw, powerful reality that can be lived. Your decision to rise above the chains they tried to wrap around you isn't just an escape. It's a revolution, one that shatters the illusion of their control and burns bright against the darkness they hope to keep you in. Your light? It disrupts everything. It challenges the lies they tried to bury you under, and it forces them to confront a truth they'd rather not see. You're untouchable. You're not just a survivor of their manipulations and control. You're thriving. Every step you take forward is a challenge to their doubts, their envy, and their need to make you small. They thought you'd crumble under pressure, but instead, you've become a force so powerful they can't ignore it. When you let your light shine, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Let them whisper all they want. Let them try to whisper doubts in your ear, or stir up envy in the corners of their minds. Their words no longer have weight. Their opinions, they don't matter anymore. You've already proven that you are stronger than their attempts to hold you back. And as you continue to rise, their doubts, their envy, and their regret will fade into the background. powerless to dim the fire inside you. What you've realized, and what they'll eventually have to accept, is that your rise isn't about their approval. It never was. You don't need them to validate your worth or to recognize your greatness. You've already done that for yourself. You chose to become everything they told you you couldn't be. And now, as your light grows stronger and brighter, you're showing everyone that your story isn't one of weakness. It's a story of fierce, unapologetic power. The truth doesn't need validation. It just needs to be shared. Keep moving forward no matter how much they try to pull you back into their broken games. Keep shining, even when they try to drag you down with their guilt, their expectations, or their misplaced loyalty. You are no longer bound by the chains they tried to wrap around you. You're free, and with that freedom comes power. A power that can't be shaken, a power that can't be ignored. Don't let anyone, not even the ones who once held you close, tell you how to live, how to feel, or what your worth is. Your story is yours to tell, and it matters. Share it. Tell the world about the struggles, the pain, and the victories that got you to this point, because in doing so, you will awaken others to the possibility that they too can rise above. You will show them that their own freedom is waiting for them, and that they too have the power to step out of the shadows and into their own light. Your truth is a weapon. Use it to break the chains that bind you and others. You're not just walking through life, you're leading the way. You're showing others that their dreams are possible, that their freedom is within reach, and that they don't have to remain stuck in lives that were never meant for them. Your bravery, your courage, and your unwavering determination are what inspire others to take the leap into their own transformation. So, rise above. Don't apologize for your success, your strength, or your freedom. Let them watch in awe as you continue to move forward, unstoppable and unshaken. You've already proven that you don't need anyone's permission to shine. You've shown the world that you're a force of nature, someone who can't be held back by fear or doubt. And the best part, you're just getting started. Your light will keep growing. Your voice will keep getting louder. And as you rise, you'll take others with you, showing them the path to their own liberation, their own freedom, and their own greatness. Keep rising, keep shining. You're unstoppable. So, chosen one, as you continue to rise, remember that your journey is just beginning. Every step forward is a victory, and every moment of growth is a testament to your strength and resilience. Keep embracing your power, and never let anyone dim your light. Your story matters, and it has the power to inspire others to break free and claim their own freedom. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop the number 77 in the comments to claim your transformation and join this movement of empowerment.